is Marianne Razai, and I'm a lecturer in electronic music, studio production, and I'm also a composer and DJ. We have a lovely variety of music in today's student performance, from electronic music to pop music and to folk. I would like to introduce the first artist performing today, and that is Joe Morris. He will be playing with synthesizers, drum machines, and effect pedals. Fantastic. Well done, Joe. Really lovely. Well done.
Thanks. Cheers.
We got some fantastic comments in the chat, which I definitely want to pick up on. Rave. Oh man, we're missing it. We're all missing the club.
Yeah, definitely.
Man, thanks for that. And then it's great to have a rave in the afternoon as well. We need that. Can you tell us
Definitely,
a little bit about like that approach?
I don't really know. Basically, I just sort of plug the synths in, switch them on, and just twizzle the knobs. I don't really know what I'm doing.
I suspect that's not true. You do know what you're doing. Was that improvisation?
Yeah, it was completely improvised. Just sort of made it up as I went along, and sort of just keep on like trying to change like what's going on to keep it interesting. But obviously, there's like a sort of constant beat.
Yeah.
Sort of, I guess, create like a trancey sort of feel, kind of thing.
Yeah, there's some comments in the chat about there being like that your set kind of reminded some people of like Cabaret Voltaire. It reminded me of a musician I like called Stable, and it has this like really strong rhythmical feel. And also there were comments about the rhythms being very tribal, and then not feeding into the electronic worlds that you were playing with there.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't really listen to much music like that. But like one of my mates from back home sort of got me into all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's just kind of fun to mess around with and create some cool noises with, I think.
Oh, that's great. I just want to tell you a couple of these other comments that we've got. People loving all the different incorporations of different sounds and techniques. And it wasn't boring, which is meant, because actually a lot of it can be. So I think that's a very good comment.
Yeah.
It felt played, like it was so tactile what you were doing.
Yeah. Like I was reading the comments, and it's nice to see that people actually enjoy it. So
yeah, definitely. Oh, we're all loving it. Well, thanks so much, Joe. Thank you.
Thank you.
So next up, we have Hannah Lord, who is going to perform 2 sets of tunes on the piano. The first set is a set of solo jigs, which include The Trip to Galway and One Drink Joe, which I understand Hannah actually composed herself. And the second set of tunes is a waltz from Finland called Der Downham, and that'll be performed with Heather Goodfellow and Mary Mackenzie on the fiddle. Thank you. That was fantastic. Well done, Hannah. Absolutely lush. Absolutely lush. Fab, thank you so much. There were so many different things going on there. I want to ask you a little bit about some of the musical influences behind your composition and your work.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a little bit about that, please?
I suppose I've been heavily influenced by Scottish music growing up. But in the past few years, I've been very obsessed with a particular pianist who I studied with in Finland, which is where I get kind of more of the jazz style from, which I quite like the fusion between jazz and folk.
Absolutely. No, it was fascinating. There was just that moment where it kind of felt like, I know it's going to sound really, really corny, but it was kind of like the fiddle drop. It's kind of like when the bass drops in a tune. It was like, da, 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 and I was like, yeah. I just felt electric when that happened as well. It was just perfectly balanced and absolutely beautiful. I did want to also ask you, and a couple of people commented, we've got some fantastic comments in the chat, about playing the piano and the amount of variation that you have. But as a piano player myself, like, can you tell us a little bit about how you were writing for the piano and also the left hand? There was a lot going on there. Well done.
Well, I mean, the piano is such a visual instrument. You can just, like, you can see it all, and you've got so much variety that's possible to you. So just, I don't know, I make the most of.
I think you certainly do make the most of it. Yeah, no, it was really lovely. And it's that thing, I think, hearing something that keeps transforming and keeps moving and that keeps the interest peaked, I think, in the audience, but also as a performer. So, like, just wanted to say super well done on that. It was really beautiful. There's a lot of appreciation for your talent and performing there. Thank you very much. Marvelous. So I would now like to introduce Alice Gilmore, who will be playing the flute and is playing a duet for 2 flutes and is accompanied by Ruby Turner. So this is a piece by Franz Doppler, and this is the Andante and Rondo. Thank you.
Good afternoon, my name is Alice Gilmore and this is Ruby Turner, and we are going to play for you Franz Doppler's Andante and Rondo for 2 flutes. Franz Doppler and his twin brother were Ukrainian flautists who composed this piece, which is so much fun to play. I hope you enjoy.
Fantastic. Thanks, Alice. That was amazing. I've got a couple of questions for you, actually. Well, the first thing is actually, there was such a fantastic energy between yourself and Ruby. I think that last particular movement really showed like when it just suddenly like accelerated and it just like boom, and you were together. It was really, really tight, and everyone's like typing away and just saying exactly the same thing. And how beautiful those harmonies were, and technically like the articulation, staccato, really, really crisp. Also very good breath control, which yes, you have. Fantastic. I do have a question, which is kind of also an observation. I absolutely love that you played outdoors. I absolutely love that. I just thought that was, fantastic imagination. So like we saw with Joe as well earlier, like putting the lights and setting the scene with lanterns and stuff. But did it affect the instruments at all, like the flutes? So can you tell us a little bit about what you did and what was going on?
Yeah, so obviously it massively affected tuning, which I'm sure people probably picked up on. That was so hard to stay in tune because obviously our flutes got so cold so quickly. And even our fingers went like completely numb just from playing outside for so long. So it got to the point where we were just so cold and our flutes literally just couldn't cope. But yeah, it was really fun doing it outside. I liked it felt like a live performance.
Yeah, definitely. It translated as that through a video. There was one of the best comments I think I've ever seen, which was that, I mean, this is a very animated piece, particularly the second part that you played. It's got huge, it feels like it has a very strong narrative. Someone thought they were gambling lambs chasing each other. I don't know if you saw that comment. That was a fantastic comment. Is there a reason why you've chosen Franz Doppler or this particular piece?
Yeah, I've always loved this piece, and it's just such a nice piece to play, like especially for that comment, there's such a great dialogue between the two flutes, and it's so much fun just to bounce off each other, and it's almost like a competition, the whole piece. We're like competing for the melody, and yeah, it's a lot of fun to play. So
yeah, you could see there was a little bit of a chase going on there, but it was, yeah, it gave a real dynamic energy to it. So super well done. And also thank you to Ruby as well for performing with you. I look forward to seeing more of you performing like that in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
So next up, I would like to introduce Georgia Sherlock, who will be performing with a guitar whilst singing. So Georgia has 3 songs. First one is called Olive Grove. The second is Trip, which I believe are original compositions. And the third is a cover version of one of my favourite songs. I think you might know it, Loving You by Minnie Riperton. Thank you.
This first one is an original and it's called Olive Grove. Take me back to the cobbled streets that I know. Looking back down Boat Street, that's how I know I'm home. Blood and spit on the concrete everywhere you go. You can walk through town, you'll never walk This one is an original song and it's called Trip. Sunshine on your skin, the rays upon your face, beaming through the window of the train. My feet up in your lap, you're taking me places I command. The smile between your lips as we took our fish and chips. You haven't said a word. I heard you don't let people leave. Well, I'm knocking at your door. Are you too scared to let me in? We don't need a plane. Just need take my hand and we can go through stones. The kids in glass homes. He took me to a castle where two worlds collide. I was nearly blowing over till you held your hands in mine. You took me to the sea and we walked along the sand. We were trying to read the menu. We couldn't even understand. Look out into the ocean. Waves are crashing on the land. I don't know where this is going, but I like where it began. We don't need a plane. Just need take my hand and we can go through stones. Like kids in glass holes. We don't need a plane. Just need take my hand and we can go through stones. Like kids in glass holes. Oh, the nights are getting colder. On a glass of stout he sold her. I lay my head upon your shoulder, and then I have to go, he told her. Oh, the nights are getting colder. On a glass of stout he sold her. I lay my head upon your shoulder, and then I have to go, he told her. I guess this night is really over. We don't need a plane. Just need take my hand. You can keep me on the ground. I'll keep my head right in the clouds. And you, is it because
Wow, thanks, Georgia. Are you there? I have a couple questions to ask you.
Yeah, man, I'm here.
Hiya.
Hi.
Oh, absolutely super well done. And you have a very beautiful voice. That's
Oh,
very
thank
cute.
you.
Everyone in the comments is saying exactly that. And actually, there've been lots of lovely things coming up in the comments that are about technical details and stuff about how you've set up. There was an interesting comment about how you panned your vocals more to the left and the guitar more to the right. Was there a particular reason for that, or?
There's no particular reason other than the fact that I have an interface that has two inputs, one for a mic, one for a guitar. And when you try and record that sound, obviously because one's an input one, one's an input two, one's just straight off to the left and one's just straight off to the right.
Well, it's a winning formula, Georgia.
I didn't plan it. That wasn't me. That was QuickTime Player on the record. But you know.
Well, very happy accident because it worked a treat. It did work very well.
Exactly.
There were lots of comments about like gorgeous use of seventh chords, a really lovely aesthetic to how you'd set up and how you were performing. I like the candles in the background.
Yeah.
It's the little thoughts, it's the little details. There was a lovely idea that you kept coming back to, was where you would pause a little bit and then you would allow the vocals. It came across as you were playing the room. You played the room you were in and you relaxed into it more. Is that something that you consciously think of?
No, usually just when I'm playing, where I play the most is just at home. So like I'm usually just sat around the dinner table with my whole family. So we usually just kind of sit, obviously with like the candles on after dinner, and we all just like have a little jam sesh. So I kind of just tried to make it like that, but in my living room. I just tried to make it like a little chill vibe, as if I was just singing to my family.
So there were some little swaps into falsetto and stuff in some of your writing. Is that something that you are very conscious of writing for, or is that something you love to do? Where did that kind of idea come from?
I always just listened to jazz when I was younger, like just jazz, badass female jazz singers are just the grit to me. That's just my whole grit, like Etta James and stuff. So I like when I like learned how to play piano, I would learn how to play like Etta James songs, and then obviously she does these mad vocal runs, her falsettos just boss, and I was just like, right, let's just try and do that from like the age of 6. So
it's absolutely fantastic.
Sound as good as they do.
And the last thing I want to ask you about is the first 2 songs that you had written yourself, and I was just interested to know a little bit more about the lyrics. Like, how have you come up with lyrics and what the subject matter of the songs are?
So the first one is called Olive Grove, which is my street name at home. So I just called it that because I rang my nan one time, and she was like, oh, you'll get Liverpool back in your bones soon, because I was proper missing home. So the first one is literally just about like me being back at home. Like it's like take me back to the cobbled streets that I know is like the first line. So I was just missing home, wants to be back. And the second song, Trip, is actually about Newcastle.
Newcastle.
Yeah. So like on the train, that was like on the metro. He took me to the castle, you know, like the Newcastle castle, at Tynemouth, being on the beaches and on the sand and stuff. Yeah, that was just like a day trip that I had to Tynemouth.
Well, Georgia, it's all fantastic stuff, and there's some lots and lots more comments. They're really lovely coming in and just saying how fantastic that was. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, man.
Well done. Fab. Well, the next thing we have, next person playing is Bjorn Nordal, and Bjorn will be performing on guitar and vocals, and he will be playing 2 Nordish traditional tunes. Thanks very much.
I will be performing 2 songs for you today. The first one is called Figa Huger and is by Anna Selvig. Both songs have got roots in Norse musical tradition. Uppskula mörmsvärden, Ulfs tandliter glittra, Aj gom döda dryga, Ida miskun fiska. at hver sem bratast gerum far fyrskjøtt sålar seit og fagran vigra Farit hefgede blodigum brandi meir bein Peter fylgdi og landa geiri ganger vas harður af í kingdom Gerðum reiðir ostur rann elður ofsköp manna Letom blodga buga I borg liti se fast So the second song I'm going to be playing is called Hele Vägen and it's by the group Vardruna. Klan skal synge meg I dødsvernas lenge Når jeg på helvegen går og de spora jeg trår kalde, så kalde Jeg sunga med søkne Jeg sunga med sende Då den djupaste brygga med kroppar så lam
That was fantastic, Bjorn.
Thank you.
Wow. Well, we got some fantastic comments in the chat actually, and I would second that. I didn't know that you sang. Because I know you through DJing and electronic music. So that was amazing.
Just not that often.
No, it was really beautiful. Really.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I suppose it's an observation from me. It felt like the way that you performed and filmed that and set it up, there was a real, it felt like you invited the audience in, and there was an intimacy to the way that you were performing there. And considering I'm sitting at a big computer screen, I was sucked into that. I really felt like that worked. You communicated very clearly through this medium.
Yeah.
So very well done on that.
Thank you.
Some really gorgeous comments. I mean, it's going nuts now about how calm and elegant it was, and lots of people knowing the songs that you were singing. Waiting,
Yeah.
Is that right?
To be fair, Helvegen is quite popular. Yeah, it did pop off for a while after it came out.
Well, it was absolutely fab. I wanted to ask you about the guitar accompaniment.
Yeah.
Did you arrange that yourself?
Sorry?
The guitar accompaniment, had you arranged playing the guitar?
To be fair, I just tuned it based off of how the recordings played it. And in the first one, for example, I saw someone commented about it as well, and it is meant to kind of replicate a dulcimer or other, medieval instruments, etc. So yeah.
Well, it totally worked. It really did.
Yeah.
That came across, and yeah, loads of people were saying the same thing. Beautiful drones going on, and the timbre of how you've set the guitar up and played, and also those lovely moments where the guitar was in unison with the vocals, particularly the first track.
Yeah, that was kind of just a decision I made because the recording itself, it's got more instruments in it, but I just thought, I'd add something else to it just to, change it up a bit. So, and I tried that out and it really worked with the, unison tuning off the whole dulcimer. Yeah, so it just worked out.
Oh, it was really, really, really lovely. And the last thing I want to ask you is, why did you choose those two particular songs?
Well, I mean, obviously being from Norway, all my life I've kind of grown up with a lot of these songs and I really enjoy it, and just the whole Norse tradition, really, I've always found it really interesting and intriguing. So, I just wanted to take the opportunity and do something with that. It's also something I'm trying to implement with my composition this year as well. So I thought I'd just, take the opportunity and work with it. Yeah.
Well, Bjorn, super well done. That was really beautiful. We've
Thank
had
you.
a really, really fantastic concert today. No, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Look forward to hearing more from you. Thank you. So our final performer today is Bob Downham, and Bob will be playing the Silje Flute. Now, I hope that I pronounced that correctly. I probably haven't. It is a Norwegian overtone flute, and Bob's going to be playing 3 tunes, and I will ask him a little bit about that afterwards. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Bob. Today I'm going to be playing a few tunes on a Norwegian instrument called a Silje Flute. It's a type of overtone flute that is native to Norway and Sweden. I'm going to start off with a tune called Skivlemojerne, which is a really popular fiddle tune and was adapted for Silje Flute by a guy called Ivan Groven. I hope you like it. Thank you. In Norway, there are two kinds of tunes that are unique to Norway. The first is a gangar, and the second is a springar. I'm going to play a springar for you now. The unique thing about them is that they have uneven beats, which means that it starts with a long beat, a medium beat, and then a short beat. This is a springar after a guy called Knut Dahle, which is from the county over from where I was living, called Tin. Thank you. Finally, I'm going to play a tune that is very close to where I was living in Norway. It's a tune called Fønnesbrun, and it's written about a horse who used to carry the corpses down the mountain during the Black Death. And there's a memorial for this horse, maybe a mile down the road from where I was living in Norway. The horse's name was Fønnesbrun. That's the name of the tune.
that was stunning. I mean, I definitely didn't expect that today. I don't know what everyone else was thinking. That was amazing. And the comments have been going nuts just saying how fantastic that was. Wow.
Cheers.
I mean,
Cheers,
wow.
everyone.
I have questions on a technical level for you because that is the very first time I've seen that instrument before. So I'm sorry that I pronounced it incorrectly. Could you say it again, please?
It's cilioflauta.
Beautiful. Can you tell us about what's going on technically with the flute? Because I can see you tapping the flute, but also how do you pitch the flute? Like, can you tell us a little about that, please?
Yeah. So the way that it works is you're overblowing the flute all the time, which is how you get the harmonics. But there's two sets of harmonics, which is why I put my finger on the end, because there's a set of harmonics with the flute open, and there's another set of harmonics with the flute closed, and that's how you get the scale to play the tunes.
My goodness, wow. It's very impressive. Is this something that you've learned recently, or is this an instrument you've been playing for a long time?
I started learning it when I got to Norway. So
was that a year
last
abroad?
year? Yeah, my exchange year.
A year abroad. Wow.
Yeah.
That's very impressive. Wow. So can I ask you a little bit about the tunes that you chose? Because there were three very different contrasting tunes that had very different narratives. And I did enjoy the way you explained about rhythm and also about the horse in the last song. Could you tell us a little why you chose those particular songs?
So I chose the first one, Skivlemayene, because it's probably the most famous cilioflauta tune. Because there's this guy, Ivan Groven, who did loads of work on microtones, and he's quite famous, and he kind of popularized this tune at the mid 20th century. And I chose the second one because I thought I would bring it closer to where I was living. Like, the styles vary quite a lot in Norway. So the greater region where I was living, Telemark, has its own kind of springart, which is the one that I played. And Knut Dale, who the guy who wrote the tune, only lived one county away from where I was living, in a place called Tim. And the last one, I chose it because it was so local. You know, it was the memorial for this horse was, you know, within walking distance of my house. So
it was a really lovely. Well, they were all very beautiful, really beautiful songs. Thank you. And I have another question about the history of the instrument, and I just wondered. I mean, today you've played solo, but I'm intrigued, and I'm very interested to know: is it normally a solo instrument, or does it often appear ensembles? How normally, do you know much about that?
It was essentially just a solo instrument until maybe the 70s and 80s, when people started experimenting with adding, you know, other instruments, usually drone sort of stuff. There's a band called Grupa who incorporate a lot of overtone flute into their music, but it's all big ensembles with drones and percussion. But before then, it hadn't really been done before.
Fascinating. I've genuinely learned quite a few new things today. So I'd just like to take a moment to thank Joe, Hannah, Alice, Georgia, Bjorn and Bob all for contributing to today's afternoon concert. It really has been eye and ear opening for me, and I think a lot of our audience here today. So thank you all so much for really fantastic performances, and I look forward to seeing the concert program that we have next week. So thank you everyone for joining us today. Bye.